Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BIMP on the Spot. I am your host, Taz, as always, reminding you to like, share, comment, subscribe, do whatever you can to show some love to the channel. We appreciate all of the support that we've gotten so far. Need a little bit more to get this thing going, so we appreciate all your help. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that notification bell to know whenever we go live. Speaking of going live, we went live earlier this week with T-shirts and Tea Tuesdays. We had an excellent episode, one of the longest of the season, I believe, of the season, maybe of the tenure of T-shirts and Tea Tuesdays. So make sure when you finish here that you go and check out that interview. As for tonight, we have a third-time participant on the BIMP Corporation channel. He's been here on T-shirts and Tea Tuesdays. He's been here on BIMP on the Spot. I wasn't the one who interviewed him, so this will be my first time interviewing Mr. LUBENS ERVIL, the creator of Legaxy Apparel, going to be presenting his new Galaxy collection today on the show. Don't want to waste any more time, so without any further ado, let's get it.
Talk to him, Double K.
Zoe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. I'm doing awesome. I'm glad to finally have you on the show. You and I have known each other for a long time now, but as you know, I'm still new to the BIMP on the Spot show. It is BIMP on the Spot with Taz now, but I haven't had a chance to get you on to interview, so I'm happy to have you. Thank you for accepting our interview to come on again. I was just telling the producer we have to do a 5-timers club because you're probably going to be the first one to hit it.
Nah, thank you for having me. I appreciate, 5-timers club. Here I come.
Yeah, man. So we know that you've been on the show before. You talked about the business before, so we're going to get into that a little bit later. But the first thing I wanted to go into was particularly your upbringing, right? Because this particular season is based around, the Black family. So we want to get into your background, where you come from, your journey to where you are now. So tell us a little bit where you're from and your upbringing, your family, different things like that.
So I'm originally from Palm Beach, Florida. If you guys don't know, that's like South Florida, kind of near Broward, Miami area. Both my parents are Haitian, so I'm a Haitian descent. Growing up, it was pretty regular. I had both my parents, food on my table, nothing out of the ordinary. I was in a rough spot, just being from Palm Beach, Florida, and just playing sports and everything is how I kind of stayed out of trouble, stayed away from all that type of stuff. My mom and my pops, they raised me with like a good head on my shoulders, so I always knew what was right and what was wrong.
So a lot for the viewers, they know now that you and I are familiar with each other. Tell the viewers how it is that you and I met.
How did I meet you? So I was interested in learning more about the Bible, more about religion, and if you guys don't know, Jalen's a very religious person. So searching, looking for my looking for whatever I'm searching for. I ended up meeting Jalen the first time. I called him. He was in New York. So I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, dang, this dude's in New York. He probably travels all over. He knows everybody, this and that. So, after he was definitely knowledgeable about the Bible. He taught me a lot of stuff, and I do appreciate that. So meeting him was different. A lot of things were just thrown at me when I met him.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a while, and you've come a long way since then. I remember I was like, who is this? I was getting a call. I'm walking on the street. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, who is this? And like, they're like, yeah, we got Lubens is here. I'm like, who's Lubens? So that was the first time I remember we met. Probably, I think, the Sabbath after that, and all the brothers came along as well. And at the time, I wasn't aware that you were playing sports. Tell us about that. You're because we know that I know that you're an athlete, but for the viewers, tell us about your journey as far as sports goes and where you are and where you were with that.
Okay, I'll just start in high school. My main sport was basketball going into high school. Like, I love basketball. I still love basketball today. I think that's my favorite sport. But my older brother, he was like, you know what, man, you should go try football. Like, that's something I regret not ever trying. So, I kind of dislike football a lot. Like, I didn't like it at all because, like, people always try to say football is better than basketball. And I'm like, you know what, man, I'm not even watching
But it
football no
is.
more. Like, just,
But it
I'm
is.
just a competitive person. So, when my brother told me that, he has a big influence on my life, so I was like, no, let me listen to my older brother and go play. So after playing football, I just fell in love with the sport immediately, and I was pretty good at it too. So, going through high school, getting offers here and there, I ended up getting offered to go play at Jacksonville University. I played at Jacksonville for University for a year. I just didn't like the environment. I really much the school, just like the environment. No disrespect to people from Jacksonville, but I just didn't like the environment where I was at in the city. So I transferred to USF to go play for the Bulls. And then while there, COVID-19 happened, everything happened. So it kind of gave everyone, I feel like, in the world a chance to kind of reflect on life and figure out what they're doing in life. And then it all brought me back to my business. So I did play for the Bulls that season, like 2 seasons, and that was the end of my journey there due to business reasons as well as religious reasons. So that's where my journey, my tenure in football ended. But
So a lot of people know, and that's often it's not very often where you have athletes that have that at your age and at this sort of stage that sort of stage in your career, you're an athlete, you focus on sports at that time, sort of thinking about a brand and building a brand. A lot of people don't really think about building brands until you have some type of scholarship or until you're already out. It's like, well, I got to use the kind of credibility or acclaim that I have now to sort of try to create a brand.
mhm.
So for you, how did your environment shape the idea of the business that you wanted to create? What did you automatically know right out of the gate that you wanted to go into clothing? And where did your passion for fashion start?
It really started when I was younger, like when I was in elementary school. I remember watching like people on TV, Chris Brown, Usher, Michael Jackson, all of them. I just used to watch them on TV and used to like the way they dressed. But I didn't have the means to dress how they dress because the stuff that they're wearing is expensive. So when I got to high school, I took a Photoshop class and I was able to design some of the pieces myself and learn how to design the pieces. And then since I played football, the Photoshop teacher was, he was a fan of football. So he was just like, yeah, you can print some of your shirts here. So I purchased some of my shirts and I actually tried to sell them when I was in high school. So I always had like an idea that I wanted to create. I wanted to create clothing at one point. Like I always wanted to create clothing, but due to sports and football and basketball, I was just like, I got too many things already on my plate. Plus, it's not really it's not really ideal for a football player, or basketball, or athlete to be in the fashion industry as well. So I just stayed away from it and just let it be until I got to college. And then, like I said, the COVID-19 pandemic happened and it just gave me a chance to reflect and realize like I do have a love for fashion. I know I can actually do it and I'm pretty good at doing it because certain pieces I'll just see while walking through the mall. I'm like, if it had this on it, it'll be hard. But so that's kind of how it all went down.
Now I know you brought up that you were selling T-shirts and everything's like that. Now,
Mhm.
one of the questions that I wanted to ask, because I feel strongly about this being an athlete and an athlete that was in a highly ranked athlete. I was supposed to go play college football, and you played college football, so you know about the name, image, and likeness that was just recently passed for athletes to now be able to profit off of their name, image, and likeness in the sport, actually sort of being paid via endorsements, whether it be local restaurants or car dealerships. How do you feel about that? As far as athletes finally now beginning to be able to make money on a college level.
Shoot, it's about damn time. You feel me? Like I love that. the NCAA finally allowed athletes to make money off their name, image, and likeness. The only thing I wish was like, I could have enjoyed it as well, or I was an athlete during the times to enjoy it because, I'd probably been signed by some fashion industry. But, everything happens for a reason, just have to have faith in the Most High. But I do like the idea of athletes being able to do that. I'm like, the NCAA is a very profitable company. So the fact that athletes were making bare minimum, can't even pay for food, eating ramen noodles was just crazy to me. Like, just crazy for me to even think about. And then these other guys are just making millions of dollars and not even sharing a penny. It was just, it was about time for that to happen.
And I absolutely agree. I was thinking the same thing. The only thing that because not only do I know college in the way contracts and different things like that work, I also know about money as far as being in college works and the way that you use money and the way that you look at money, especially as it pertains to your career going forward. And one of the things that makes me nervous, especially with some of the young guys that I advise concerning these particular things, is that these are 18-year-olds, 18 and 19-year-olds making, some of them making serious money, right? Especially the guys that I train, they're not 2 stars. A lot of these guys are 4-star, 5 stars. They're going to be going to acclaimed schools. They're going to be coming in with a certain level of reputation. So I don't know if you would agree with this sentiment, but one of the things that I was saying is that if you're now being able to pay athletes through endorsements to now bring in NFL athletes who can now advise young men on how to use their finances so that they don't blow through it or get in trouble using it to be able to invest their assets wisely, so that, say, college doesn't work out or say they do go late in the draft, they now have a certain level of finances to fall back
on. That's a great idea for NFL athletes or just older people in general, people that
retired athletes. You see them all
retired
the time with
athletes.
these stats.
A lot of young players are making a lot of money. First person that came to my mind was Mikey. He's a basketball player, way younger than me. So he's making like millions right now, and he's only in high school. So it's crazy to think about, but I feel like sometimes when you're in those in that reality of being able to get paid millions and millions of dollars, that the parents are able to advise the kids how to spend the money, hopefully. But there is times where kids don't know what to do with the money, and like they're 18 years old or 19 years old, like you said, and they just blow through their money and might not even get drafted or go at a low draft stock, something like that. So I encourage the parents, when these kids start getting these deals and everything, to help them advise their money. But when you're making that much money, you got to grow up fast.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that before you had to get your money before you got to college. But now you can get your money in college. So Mikey Williams was getting the money now so that he wouldn't need the money when he got to college, but now he can make money in college. But you have a lot of parents and a lot of brothers that are coming out of a lot of low income communities like Broward County, like St. Petersburg, Florida, like like Kansas City and different places like that, where their parents don't know how to manage money.
That's a plus and a minus. I feel like when you're younger, you're more into your environment. Instead of going off to college and then going off to the NFL, you kind of become distant from your environment. So when you're younger, like Mikey or a college athlete, you remember the people that were on the block that was with you every day. You remember like the old folks that were in front of the corner store every day. So you think about them a lot, and then you'll be more likely to help them instead of being in the NFL and being like 4 years down the line and you don't even remember, where you came from, or don't even remember like all the stuff that were in your environment during the time. But also for parents that do come in low income communities that never even touch the amount of money that these athletes are making it in high school, it's tough. It's tough on them. It's tough on them. But somebody gotta have the big pants on.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I always advise young guys about. Is I always tell them, like, listen, you got to college, but you ain't made it yet. A lot of times they think the little bit of money that they get, oh, that's $100,000, that's $200,000. I'm like, listen, where you are at now, you haven't made it yet. And a lot of times you get in that mindset where it's like, oh yeah, I got this little bit of money, I made it. Nah, you haven't made it yet. and that's sort of a difficult thing, especially when you're looking at young people who've never had anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and to tell them that it's difficult to tell a person who never had anything that, well, your family up until this point, your family been broke for 19 years now. What's another year? What's another year till you can get something, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell somebody that, but now that these athletes are starting to come into money early, I feel like before they can now get access to that name, image, and likeness, they should at least go and sit in on a 2 hour
Mm-hmm.
just discussion with a professional athlete who's had money, maybe retired, someone on the coaching staff possibly. We
Mm-hmm.
know that a lot of college programs have college coaches that are on their coaching staff who can talk about how to manage money and how to use their money at their age, so that say things don't work out and they still have something to fall back on.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty new rule. I feel like college coaches are probably the biggest influence on these athletes, and they should make classes in order for these athletes to realize how to spend their money wisely, or like instead of going to practice this day, y'all should probably let's go take a finance class and go find out how to budget your money well or to finance your money well and put it in the right spots. So that's something for the coaches to really think about. And on these athletes to help them with the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people forget that by the time a lot of these guys get to the NFL and football, it's not like basketball where you can get into the league at 19 and 20. In
Mm-hmm.
football, you get into the league at 21, 22 years old. You're a grown man. The majority of your influence came from your high school and your college coaches. NFL coach can't really tell you nothing, right? So, so that those influential years from your true freshman, whether you get red shirted your freshman year or not, that's really the most influential time for a young person, especially now that there's money involved, and that there can be money involved, and that there's endorsements involved, and that there's the right people in there to actually make sure that those young. I feel like it's a big thing, and this is you're one of the you're one of the athletes that I've been to one of the people who've been on the show who've actually experienced a Division I sports program, and you just missed the NIL, just missed it,
Yeah,
but being so close to it, just sort of being able to speak on that, I felt like was important.
yeah.
But we know that you have your Galaxy collection, and I know that you all are happy to hear about it, but we're going to be right back. We're going to go on a commercial break for our Harlem Nights event, and we will come back and talk about Legaxy Apparel's new Galaxy collection. We'll be right back.
It's a For Us By Us extravaganza in celebration and support of Black brands and Black business excellence. Ignite Youth Incorporated presents to you Harlem Nights with a Modern Twist 2022 extravaganza, October 14 through 16, 2022. Business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives, join us for an exclusive B2B networking brunch. Families, enjoy our kids zone. Shop Black business vendors and eat from the best food trucks at our vendor festival. Grown folk, come party with us as we dance the night away. Check out our Harlem Nights fashion show, designs by fashion designers from all around the country. Enjoy casino games, signature cocktails, good eats, and our awards ceremony at our cocktail reception. Harlem Nights 2022 extravaganza will be an event you don't want to miss. Harlem Nights with a Modern Twist 2022 extravaganza, October 14 through 16, 2022, in lovely downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. We'll see you there. To learn more, pre-register for tickets, or as a vendor, visit www.mybimp.com.
That's right, www.mybimp.com. Y'all can't tell me Eric Holloway ain't do his thing on that voiceover for the commercial. Big shout out for that commercial. It's amazing. And keep in mind, you go and pre-register. The months are going by fast. We just got into 2022 and we're already in the month of March. 7 months are going to pass and Harlem Nights will be on us. So make sure you go to www.mybimp.com to pre-register for that event. Zoe, I know you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. We're going to be dressed to the nines. You already know what's up. We're going to have Daytrend and Travis, everybody, we're going to be dressed to the nines. So make sure that when you arrive, you got to be on par. All right, man. So one of the things that I wanted to ask, I know for those who haven't seen your previous interviews on the show, tell us how Legacy Apparel got started.
Ooh, Legacy Apparel. So when quarantine happened, I kind of found myself in like a weird state in life. Basically, like, football's stopped, canceled, whatever. And it's just everybody's just having time to reflect. So during this time, I'm like, okay, football is not gonna last forever. Like, it's not even guaranteed that you will go to the league. So you got to figure out what you're gonna do. Like, you got to figure out, like, just think about worst case. That's not always. I know everybody doesn't want to always think about that, but sometimes you gotta sit down and think about, like, what's gonna happen. Because no, I didn't. I never. You didn't know how long quarantine was going to last during the time. So so yeah, I talked to my mom, and then I talked about clothing with my mom, and then she was like, your grandma did clothing before, like in Haiti. That's how she paid my mom and my auntie to go into school. Like, she would make and sell clothes in Haiti, so my mom and auntie could go to school, and so she could afford them to go to school. So once I heard that, that kind of went to the reason I named my brand Legacy as well. But once I heard that, I was like, no, I'm just gonna just take a leap, just try to do it, and just create a brand that's different from any other brand. Um, just create a brand that's about changing perspectives and just about looking at life itself in a different light. I feel like every piece, every brand, every product has its own message. But I feel like when it comes to Legacy, especially with my Minor Legacy collection, it had a lot of meaning behind each product. Each piece has its own meaning behind it. So that's kind of how I like the direction I'm going in with the brand. We're getting there. We're gonna get there.
Now I know some people have some questions about the way you spell legacy. You have the X instead of the C. Where did that come from?
So the reason I switched the C to X was our our brand thing is called changing perspective. So basically, changing perspective means like, so the main name of Legacy is live, breathe, and die. I usually don't like explaining this, but it's Legacy, live, breathe, and die. But our slogan is changing perspectives. But so that basically explains how we all live, breathe, and die. But we could change our perspectives on life, creating a new reality, and essentially creating a new legacy. So it's a deeper meaning behind it. But that's the reason. Changing the perspective. You could look at the same word, and it's just, instead of it being a C, it's an X now. It's a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Now, I know you brought up about your Mind of Legacy collection, and one of your favorite pieces for me was your False Prophets hoodie and your Chosen hoodie. Tell us
Hmm.
about where in your mind those ideas came from.
I don't like to explain too much, but with the Chosen hoodie, the first thing says Chosen, and then on the back of it, it has the last image of the Last Supper. But it's not like an image that most people will see. This is an image that, like, it's not the main image that will pop into most people's heads with Jesus and all the disciples around him. It's a different type of image. So I put that there instead of putting that, because it's a change of perspective. You're looking at it from a different perspective, from a Black person per se point of view. So that's why I created Chosen. That's why I made the Chosen hoodie. But and with False Prophets, it had the
Da
God,
Vinci.
when God, yeah, Da Vinci painting on it. And on the back of it, I believe it had Roman numerals. And if you decipher those Roman numerals and you look into the Bible, you can figure out what scripture in the Bible that is. But I don't want to go
Awesome.
too deep into
That,
detail.
it, and I really wanted to highlight those two because it really, and I know you don't like explaining it, but I wanted to bring those two up because it definitely highlights the changing perspective idea that's based around Legacy Apparel as a whole. Those are the two perfect examples of what it is that Legacy Apparel represents. Right?
Hmm.
You have the image of the Last Supper, and when you say the Last Supper, the main thing that comes into people's minds is Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to the Last Supper that was painted pre Leonardo da Vinci, that was found in the Annunciation cathedrals of the Moscow Kremlin, right? So there's two separate ideas of what the Last Supper was. It's all based on what your perspective is. And Chosen, same thing as it pertains to Leonardo da Vinci's painting, as it pertains to what is believed to be the Holy Trinity. right? So I really wanted to point those out because it's a perfect example of what you were talking about as far as switching the C with the X. It's no different than you switching
Um, my bad.
Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper with Annunciation Cathedral in Moscow Kremlin's
Definitely.
of the Last Supper. So I just wanted to point that out to just show the consistency in which you create your product. Now, the next
My
question that
bad.
I have
My
for you
bad
is
to cut you off real quick. It's
go.
actually Michelangelo's painting on the yeah,
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. I didn't
My
want viewers to
apologies.
see this, but like these guys don't know what they're talking about. So
My apologies. My
yeah,
apologies.
that's good.
Michelangelo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. I'm ashamed because I
yeah.
just finished. I just finished a humanities course in an
Hmm.
art in a art class. I'm mad that I got that wrong. But in all fairness, Leonardo da Vinci did
Yeah.
repaint the Last Supper. So
Hmm.
he did repaint the Last Supper. So I'm right in a sense.
Yeah.
but but what all goes into your design process, right? So understanding, what you were talking about with perspective.
Hmm.
How is it that what's your process to coming up with the designs and the outfits that you essentially create and put out?
Um, so a lot of legacy is based around the hip hop and rap industry a lot, but also based around the Bible as well. You know, I read the Bible a lot, so it just naturally has a place inside my head. So when I create, I just listen to music and allow myself to just, just get into my mind and just create whatever's in my heart, whatever's on my heart during the time. So if I'm listening to a certain song or I'm feeling a certain mood, certain vibe, I'm gonna create something along those vibes. So I also have a piece called "I Love Money."
Mhm,
It wouldn't associate with the Bible so much as the other pieces, but that was just the mood and that was the vibe that I was feeling during the time.
mhm.
So each piece holds its different meaning, whether it's a meaning that you agree with or a meaning that some people may not agree with. Each piece holds a meaning, and I feel like every person can relate to each piece in their own way. So that's what goes into the creation process. There's a lot of music, I can create anywhere. I can create just while riding in the car on a long night trip. You know,
Mhm.
just depends on how I'm feeling.
Definitely, and speaking specifically to that is what is based off of what you're feeling, what you're listening to at the moment. Really, just sort of like like not unlike any other artist, any form of art is based around some level of emotion, some level of intelligence and logic that goes
Hmm.
into what it is that a person creates. So it's no different than any type of art. But when people think of legacy apparel, right? What is it that you want them to think? What is the message that you're trying to send through your clothing?
That art is too important to keep a secret. That art is too important to keep a secret. That if you have something on your heart or on your mind, or you have some type of knowledge that you can give to the world, that you got to give it. You know, the way you perceive life and your perception on life is your reality essentially. Like if you perceive life in a negative manner, your reality might be negative. You know what I'm saying? So just like how people perceptions religion, some people pray to the Muslim God, but some people pray to the Christian God. Depending on whatever God you pray to is your perspective on life. So when it goes into that perspective on life is your reality. So if I pray to the Muslim God, I'm probably going to be wearing a turban, this and that, or whatever their religion has to do with. And if I pray to Christian God, I will probably be doing what most Christianity people in that religion do as well. So it's just your perception on life creates your reality in life as well. So
Mhm.
that's something that I wanna. That's the biggest meaning behind my brand.
That's definitely true. That for, and that comes into your transition into from the idea of your perspective and your view on the world changing. It happens to everyone when the true religion of Christ, right? And a lot of people don't know the difference between those two, but we talked about it a little bit during my interview with Peasy, where you have Christianity and you have the true religion that Christ established, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of people say, "Well, I'm not religious." Well, that's what Christ established, right? There's a certain level of culture that comes with being the nationality that we are, the ethnicity and the bloodline that we are. But there's also religion that comes with it. There's a belief system, right? And when your mindset changes, now that your mindset has changed, the way that you
Or
look at the
lifestyle,
world now changes. You can't see the world the same way that you did before.
definitely.
So once again, how the consistency between the way you think and the way for the way that those who are purchasing legacy apparel to understand what it is that you're creating, you have to think a certain way. You have to have a certain perspective. You have to have a certain sight to be able to understand what it is that you're creating and what and how it is that you're creating it. Right?
Yeah, and it's a lot on the buyers. Like if you buy Legacy and you see this piece, you look at that piece from your perspective. Nobody's perspective is essentially wrong. It's just how you view the world, and that's why the slogan is changing perspectives. Maybe to get you to view how I view the world, or just kind of giving you different thought processes, or make you just expand your mind and just think.
And that's what art is. I mean, nobody knows why it is that certain things were done when certain paintings were created, or when certain art was created from 2,000 years ago. No one really understands. The only person who understands what the message or what that person was trying to convey through that art was the creator. So all there is perspective and speculation based off of what you believe might have been the person's inspiration for creating something. So even as it pertains to all art, when people look back and they see what Legacy Apparel is 1,000 years from now, everyone's perspective as to what it is you might have been trying to portray is something completely different. Right. So exactly. Now, finally, what everybody's been waiting to hear about is your Galaxy collection. Tell us your inspiration behind the Galaxy collection and what makes this collection different from the ones that you've done in the past.
So the Galaxy collection, my newest collection, I'm wearing one of the tracksuits right now. It was a winter collection. So basically, it's cold outside. Everybody, you need something to warm up with. So I made Galaxy. The first Galaxy set I made was in the beginning of my brand, and I wasn't really going to bring these back out, but popular demand and a lot of people just liking the brand and falling in love with the brand just based solely off these sets, these tracksuits was popular demand demanded it. And sometimes I usually just go with my gut and what I like and just produce that. But this was something that I did like, and I felt like it fit into the winter theme. We were in winter time. So that's something that's what the Galaxy collection essentially was. And where it comes, the word Galaxy, where that comes from is you can't see it in the pictures, but it's when you take flash photos of it, it has a rainbow reflective, so it looks like a galaxy. So that's just where all that comes from.
Yo, that's awesome. Now, particularly as it pertains to this collection, I know you said it was a winter collection, but we're a different type generation. We'll wear a hoodie in the 90-degree weather down here in Florida. We kind of different. We're different out here, and every other state is still kind of cold. But your winter collections, how do you see the evolution of your? Because keep in mind, this is going to continue to spread, right? And winters here in Florida aren't exactly like winters in New York and Minnesota, right? So how do you expect that for your winter collections to evolve as you get to colder weather? Are you going to start making more winter coats with your logo on it, like the long, puffy with the is that something that you're looking at doing in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I'm open to anything apparel wise. I'm open to making shoes, bags. Like I want to take Legacy as far as Legacy can go, trying to take it to the moon. So for winter collections next year, we're really thinking about bringing in varsity jackets, bringing in tracksuits again, bringing in nice hoodies, oversized hoodies, regular size hoodies, all types of things for the winter collection. So Legacy is just building. We're just building, getting stronger, getting better, coming up with more creative ideas. So it's just gonna keep getting better and better. Yeah.
What would you say is what do you envision? Because we know we're going into a different season come this weekend. It's a complete transition. what do you envision for Legacy going into this next transition of the year? And what do you feel like is the definitive next step for what do you feel that Legacy Apparel has achieved, and what is the definitive next step heading into this new season?
So we achieved a lot. We made a lot of sales over more than I could even imagine. Made a lot of sales over the tenure of Legacy starting. We've achieved like just recognition from a lot of people, a lot of big time people as well. Was able to even do a shoot with Diamond Flawless, like just off the love. Like it was just a lot of people just like the brand, like the message, like everything behind the brand. So I feel like that's an achievement in itself. And then what we got planned for the future, I feel like the next collection is really going to send us over the top because it's something that I kind of like, something like the Mona Lacey collection. It has a lot of pieces strictly about the brand, about changing perspectives, about what the Mona Lacey collection had like inside of it. Like that's something that we're gonna bring to the table again. That we'll continue to bring to the table with all the collections coming in the futures.
We have a question from Miss Rush, of the owner and CEO of BIM Corporation, asking, "Is his fashion line going to be in the Harlem Nights fashion show?" Because I want to know that too.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna be in a Harlem Nights fashion show. It's a little different for us because we're a luxury streetwear brand, and Harlem fashion show. You're wearing suits and tuxedos or whatever, dressing whatever like Harlem fashion. So it's a little different. It's high end fashion, but I feel like with me, I'm very creative. I'm able to adapt to whatever. I just did a fashion show not too long ago, so I was able to adapt into what it takes to be in a fashion show because just making tracksuits or just making t-shirts is not what it takes. You look at companies like Off-White, Vlone, Palm Angels, you can see that they're able to have the streetwear aspect, but also able to have the runway aspect a part of their brand. And that's something that I want to, test myself to see if I could do it myself. And I know I can. So that's why I'm, going to be a part of Harlem Nights fashion show. It's going to be something different. That's going to be live.
Man, if I ever see a Legacy Apparel tuxedo, I'm buying it. If I ever see a Legacy Apparel 3-piece, you best believe I'm gonna be the first one with you get the Legacy Apparel emblem on the inside of the coat.
For sure.
No. I'm gonna get my hands on that day.
Like the thing is Harlem Nights fashion show, but with a twist, like with a modern twist. So we're gonna put that modern twist on it and see what we can get. So we'll see what we can get.
Oh, I'm excited for this, y'all. I'm excited for this one. I'm definitely excited to see what you got now. One thing that I definitely wanted to commend you on is your use of color in the Galaxy collection. We had lime greens, reds, that blue, that Columbia blue looks like excellent color, man. Your use of color, excellent in this collection. There's a little something for everybody in there. Y'all see it, lime green on the screen, fits for men and for women. You got the blacks in there. Of course, you got the white, crisp, clean, and the logo is sophisticated. Is man, you got a tan. Man, you snapped on this one, man. You outdid yourself on this one.
I like the tan. I think tan might be my favorite color, but I'm a little biased. But yeah, every color I love, everything in that collection I love, and I feel like it's gonna do amazing. It's already doing amazing. Kind of see something disappearing in the back behind me right here, just growing.
Hey man, you have no idea over these last couple of years that I've known you, how far you've come and how much you've grown. Not only in this ministry and in this work, but as a brother, as a man, and in your business. Proud of you, man. I'm happy for you. I'm glad with everything that you're doing, and you have my support in anything that you do, bro.
Definitely. I appreciate just you guys taking me in and being able to teach me a lot of stuff within the ministry as well, and even helping me with Legacy. You got taking me on the show. I appreciate this as well. But Legacy is gonna keep excelling. We're gonna keep getting bigger and bigger till we're on the same level as Off-White, Vlone, or Palm Angels. Till we're on those levels.
And that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Excelling back Black business to the point to where now we have to be seen. We have to be recognized. Fact of the matter is that we the salt of the earth, right? If the salt has lost their savor, what good? Just throw it out, right? So it's time for us to start embracing that flavor that we got and start using it. Make people taste it. What's the point of salt with savor if ain't nobody using it? If it's just sitting around getting stale, right? So definitely glad that you're not only creating art, but you're showing the world your art, and the world is loving your art. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to thank Zoe for coming on. This was an excellent episode. I'm glad to have you, bro. You know we're going to talk when you get off of this thing. It was awesome. You know we're going to talk after this.
Hey, everybody go follow me on Instagram, Legacy Apparel and Legacy Zoe, my personal. And, appreciate you for having me. The main thing about my brand is just, the title. Just leave a legacy. Leave a legacy for my children. Leave a legacy for my children's children. So that's what we trying to
get at his website too, everybody. He got a website where you can order when he drops new collections. You can pre-order and order there. You see it right down scrolling on the bottom, legacyapparel.com. Get at him. As he mentioned, his socials as well. Go there, show some love, show some support for the brother. Y'all know he got some hot stuff. Go through, just look at his inventory and you'll see where this brother is going. It's gonna get crazy, y'all. I'm excited for this thing. I know you're excited for it, Zoe. And man, this thing is gonna be amazing. And I'm so glad that we got to do this today. Thank you.
So thank you. Waiting for that five meeting club, whatever.
Oh yeah. You talking about the 5 Timers Club? Oh yeah, the first member of the 5 Timers Club. We're gonna have to do that. All right, everybody. I want to thank everyone for coming on. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Remember to go check out this week's earlier episode of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. Oh, we see Brother Zephaniah dropping in the chat. What's up, brother? And we want to remind you all, remember, like, share, comment, subscribe, show some love for the channel. Make sure you hit that bell so you're notified whenever we go live. Check out this week's earlier episode of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, and be sure to tune in next week for T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays and the final episode of Bimp on the Spot for this season. Wrapping up an amazing season. We've had Zealous, we've had Peasy, we've had LUBENS, ERVIL of Legacy Apparel, we've had Brian Jennings. It's been an amazing season. Can't wait to cap it off, and we're going to be going out with the bang, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Bless you all. Stay safe and have a good night.
Talk to him, Double K.